Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. So, first off, thanks to those of you that stuck around for last night's option session. Uh, talked about a lot of things. Went over a ton of different market related, option related, trading related ideas. I always appreciate the input. Um, And, just I want to say thanks to those of you guys that stuck around. If you weren't able to make it, be sure to check out the recording. That's up at your disposal. If you have any questions, just reach out. Um, and We spent time talking about credit strategies last night, so I'm not going to go over it today. What I am just briefly going to talk about, just very briefly, is like this FOMO that you're really seeing in the market, right? And it's starting to creep back in. Uh, Talked about it last week, right? When it was like of the day of Google's report, and how it just seemed like like there's like this anxiousness for people that they're going to miss out, and they really want to just jump in, chase things higher, regardless of the pattern, regardless of how far these things have run. And what I said last week basically is what I want to reiterate again. It's like sometimes being patient, sometimes waiting is really hard, but it is sometimes the best move, right? I mean, you don't want to put yourself in like these bad positions where you're chasing at bad prices, overextended patterns, especially as we get into like earnings, right? Because a lot of stocks have already had expensive options, because of like the overall implied volatility being higher, and the basically the way like March and April played out. I mean, you got wider trading ranges, right? So I think already coming into this quarter, there was a lot of tough patterns, and now if things are just kind of ripping into like the reports, it makes it even more tough, right? So just like three names that are reporting after the close, they're into like that 50% rule I talked about, right? If a stock moves more than 50% of what it was pricing in for earnings that day, then it really makes me cautious, right? So Shopify today, I mean, they already guided, which is even crazier. They already guided the quarter, and they already pulled guidance for the year. So I mean, a lot of the volatility or potential volatility is removed on Shopify because they already guided the quarter and they pulled guidance for the year. So I'm not sure what's going to move the needle substantially, but they're still pricing in about like a 70-ish point move. And today, at one point, it was up over 40, so over 5% what it was pricing in for earnings alone, right? EA and Activision coming into the week, I thought they were two pretty interesting setups because they were kind of like tighter bull flags. But what you notice is Monday and Tuesday just ripped higher, and these two haven't guided yet, but they're both actually up more than about 50% of what they're pricing in for the weekly straddle. So like EA is looking for about 8. Right now it's up like close to 4. And Activision was looking for about a 4.5 point move, and right now it's up just a little under 3. So I mean, you can see like just straight up the last couple of days right into earnings, and what had been kind of interesting patterns when I was going over these on Friday is now completely different, right? Because these things are straight up. Activision is basically straight up 10% at a 52-week high, and then all of a sudden, it went from like an interesting bullish setup to like now it's kind of extended, and you don't know how high expectations are and what the bar is, right? So I trust me, like it happens to me. Like I see these things ripping, like I want to be involved, especially if it was like an idea that I had coming into the week. I was waiting to put possibly some of these on the day of earnings, and then just keep going and going and going, right? Like there's, you have that, you have that like fear creeping in where you say like, oh, I'm gonna miss the move, it's gonna be up a ton. But you know, I found throughout like many years I've been doing this that like sometimes if you just wait and be patient, and even if that means sitting out, like it's just better to not put yourself in like those bad positions and chase stuff, and then just look for opportunity after. All right. Um, So if you like these videos and you're looking for more option trade ideas, more earnings trade ideas, more options education, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options in play. I hope you guys have a safe night. I hope you have a good night if you're playing any of these. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.